And what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy, B New. I'm coming at you on this hump day, Wednesday. As we all know, it was a pretty quiet night in the association on yesterday. But let's just focus in on one of the main games that took place. Now, I know TNT featured a Golden State Dallas game last night, but I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you. I didn't even watch the game. I had some things I had to take care of, and I thought it would be a closely contested battle because I thought that, with them both fighting for playoff position and Golden State trying to get into the play-in tournament, that it would be a good game. So I hadn't even really looked at the box score or anything like that, but I know Steph Curry did play. So I did want to say, like in the first half, I saw an alert on my phone where the score was like 47-15 at one point. So I was like, what in the hell is really going on? So for all of y'all who did get a chance to see the game, in the comments below, please let me know what was going on, because I just don't understand how Golden State could get beat that bad by Dallas, especially with Dallas not having Porzingis. But at the end of the day, they did exactly what they needed to do. So Dallas is, they're in that 6th seed, and they fighting hard to maintain that 6th seed because they do not want to get involved into a play-in game, and that is currently where the Portland Trail Blazers are tonight, who will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies again tonight, and they lost 2 to the Memphis Grizzlies last week. So that would be a great game again tonight. But another team that played yesterday, of course, who clinched a playoff berth, none other than the Brooklyn Nets. So we know Kevin Durant was in action last night. We know that Kyrie Irving was, and if you didn't get a chance to see the game, which I saw bits and pieces of it, and I would just say this, that the Brooklyn Nets, I would say that it was an impressive win. You might say it's not an impressive win, but as we know, the Lakers do have Toronto coming up. So that's something that you can kind of gauge, because obviously the Toronto Raptors have not given up on their season, and they played really hard through 3 quarters, and pretty much they held Kyrie Irving to under 9 points. And if you take a look and see, you had 6 or 7 Brooklyn Nets players that were in double figures, including the newly acquired Mike James. And for Steve Nash to have trusted Mike James down the stretch to be able to play like that was a testament to him. And basically, I would say that the Toronto defense did a pretty good job for 3 quarters, shutting the Nets down. And if you look at, KD played, 33 minutes and only had 17 points. And now he only took 7 shots, and I want to say it was 5 out of 7, putting him around 70%, which is hella good. But at the end of the day, why did he only take 7 shots? Well, he only took 7 shots because every time KD got the ball, Toronto came on a double team. So what they decided to do was, we are not going to let Kevin Durant beat us. And as a result, they almost came away with the victory, even though the final score doesn't show that, but they almost came away with the victory. And basically the Brooklyn Nets, want to hang their hats on the defensive end of the court because they haven't been playing good defense. But in the 4th quarter, they actually looked nice on the defensive end by actually holding Toronto. I want to say it's only 19 or 20 points in that 4th quarter. Kyle Lowry really played a lot better than Kyrie Irving. Kyle Lowry had 22 points. I want to say 6 or 7 assists, while Kyrie Irving only had 9 points and 4 assists. He could have had more assists, but there were some open shots that was missed. But when you talk about Mike James being in double figures, you're talking about Jeff Green as the leading scorer in double figures with 22. Kevin Durant with 17. Even Tyler Johnson, I want to say, was in double figures last night as well. Of course, Joe Harris as well, too. So if the Brooklyn Nets can learn how to win without their star players contributing a lot of points, then I would say that's a good win for them, because in the playoffs, you're going to have to try to find a way to figure out games, especially when teams are trying to take away one of your key scoring components. Now, of course, if James Harden had been in the game, then it'd have been, if you try to take away KD, then that's going to leave Harden. But the way I look at it is, if the Brooklyn Nets do, in fact, make it out of the East and play a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, then the Lakers are a team that really hangs their hat on the defense, and they are going to get after Brooklyn. What I did notice in the second half, though, Brooklyn made some very key adjustments in their floor spacing to where Toronto was really closing out on the three, but the way they aligned their wing players and got the extra pass in, it made it really difficult. For Toronto to close out on the three-point shooters. And with that being said, that's kind of when Brooklyn took control of the game. But I will say this, and I don't want to sound funny or nothing, because it just really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, I don't know if they were trying to get some extra ping pong balls since Toronto was technically out of it. But, I mean, they played really hard for 3 quarters. And then that last quarter, I don't know, I just didn't see the tenacity, didn't see the closeout as much as I would have liked to. But like I said, that is a testament to Steve Nash and his coaching staff. Even though Steve Nash is a young coach, he made the proper adjustments to where they were making an extra pass and spreading the floor to where it made it really difficult for Toronto to be able to close out on those shooters. So congratulations to Brooklyn for clinching that playoffs seed. Of course, we all knew that they would anyway, especially considering what their record is. But with only 10 to 12 games left in the season for everybody, it's time for crunch time. So as we all know, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be taking on the Washington Wizards tonight. And I know I said previously in the other video that the Lakers were going to have an easy slate, that the Lakers weren't going to have too much of a difficult road ahead. But if you really take a look at the way the way Toronto gave Brooklyn such a tough game last night, you know, that's who the Lakers' next opponent is Toronto. So, you know, it's not going to necessarily be a gimme game for the Lakers by any means. So let's not get that twisted. And, of course, the Wizards, they've been playing well. They won, I want to say, 7 out of their last 8 or 9 games, too. They had their 7-game winning streak snapped recently with an overtime loss against the San Antonio Spurs the other night, because San Antonio Spurs are actually fighting to get into the playoffs as well and try to get into a play-in game. And with that being said, I want to say Beal had like 45 points. The Wizards really put up a lot of points in that game, even though it went to overtime. But of course, the Lakers play a lot better defense than what the Spurs play this season, of course. And the thing is, I just don't really see the Wizards having a true. I don't see the Wizards really having a matchup problem for Anthony Davis or Drummond. And the last time the Wizards played the Lakers, I want to say, was a couple of months ago. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Wizards did win that game. They was on a hot streak, and that's when LeBron fouled Westbrook at the end of the game, gave him the M1. And even though Westbrook missed the free throw and the Lakers had an opportunity to tie the game, LeBron heaved up like a 30-foot or 35-foot three-pointer for no apparent reason, which perplexed me, and I did get onto LeBron about that. So while all you haters and other people out there who say that I'm biased or anything like that, you know, I try to analyze in the best way I can. Now, of course, I am a LeBron James fan, so I'm not going to sit up here and bash the man, so you know that. But at the end of the day, I try to be as biased as I can, as unbiased as I can. So that was a totally different game when the Wizards played the Lakers, you know, a couple of months ago. Like I said, that was with LeBron carrying the team. And I want to say Schroeder might have missed that game. I cannot remember if he played that game or not, but it was a closely contested game. But with this game, it's going to look a lot different, because it's really the Wizards' strength, of course, as you know, is their backcourt, with having Russell Westbrook and having Bradley Beal in the backcourt. Of course, their strength is not the front court, and that is going to be the Lakers' strength as of right now. Until LeBron gets back, especially with Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. So I really don't see the Wizards having a chance in winning this game if the Lakers do what they need to do on the glass. So as long as they can limit second chance opportunities for the Wizards, and they attack the offensive glass and give themselves chance for second chance points, and if they play good defense, because we know Russell Westbrook, you know, he's a great player, but he had the tendency to turn the ball over. And of course, you know, the Lakers feast on people that turn the ball over, because when you turn the ball over, it leads to fast breaking, easy opportunities, and that's what the Lakers are very good at, is getting up and down in the transition game. So I really look forward to the game tonight to see the Lakers in action. Of course, we all know that's going to be 7:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Central for those of you in the Central time zone. But that's a game that the Lakers should win. And even though Toronto is playing well and the Wizards are playing well, I think the Lakers should take care of both those teams as well. Now, the Kings have been looking pretty good too, and I know the Lakers have a matchup against the Kings when they get back before they take on Denver. So they're going to be playing the Sacramento Kings, and the Kings actually beat Dallas, I want to say, on Monday night, and pretty much led Dallas the whole game. So I know they have injured player. I want to say Fox is out, but yet they still are playing well. They playing good basketball because this is the NBA, and nobody's just going to roll over to anybody. And at this time of year, a lot of teams like to play spoiler. A lot of teams really like to play spoiler, and that's pretty much the mindset of what these next few teams are going to have in mind when they get set to play the Lakers. So as we all know, the Lakers will be in action tonight, and we look forward to it, and we hope that LeBron James will be coming back soon. That's something that I'm looking forward to. I kind of feel like we got robbed this season by not being able to see LeBron play this last month and win the MVP and keep the Lakers in top contention up there at the number 1 and 2 spot. We do got a great game coming up Friday night against, I want to say, Utah and the Suns, as they fight for that number 1 position. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because neither one of those teams are going to be able to beat the Lakers. And as soon as I start bragging on the Clippers, you see how they lost and dropped an easy game too on yesterday. So, or was that day before yesterday? But at the end of the day, we know who the top teams are and what's going to happen, and that's going to be the Lakers, of course, and then of course Brooklyn. That's still that's my pick. I know a lot of people saying Brooklyn cannot get past Philly and Brooklyn won't get past Milwaukee, but Milwaukee still hasn't shown me anything. Philly hasn't shown me anything. LeBron has been gone from the Eastern Conference for how long now? And we had Toronto come out. I mean, really? And then Miami. So since LeBron has left the so-called weak East, then who have we had come out of the East? Milwaukee, Antetokounmpo, you had every opportunity with no LeBron James being there. You had every opportunity. But Philly, you had every opportunity, and you let Toronto do it. I know they had Kawhi Leonard and everything, but at the end of the day, you didn't prove or show anything. And Antetokounmpo, you didn't prove or show anything. And then last year, in the bubble, when you really should have had an opportunity, what does Milwaukee do? They fold again. You understand? I know Philly has a new coach in Doc Rivers. I do understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying they had every opportunity to prove themselves. So why would I be high on Philly? I'd be high on Milwaukee, thinking that they're going to be able to take down the Brooklyn Nets. Come on now. Kevin Durant had not yet played in the Eastern Conference yet. And Kevin Durant is that guy. And I mean, I understand that, hey, I'm a LeBron James fan, and LeBron James is the GOAT and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, Kevin Durant is going to go down as a top 10 player of all time. And who knows, maybe higher. It just depends on how he finishes his legacy, where he chooses to show up and how healthy he can stay. So at the end of the day, you know, I just don't feel like Milwaukee, Philly, Miami, Boston, New York, even for that matter. I'm not saying that they cannot push them to maybe some 6 or 7 game series. I think it is possible. But if you got all three of them there with Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, and the way the role players, and see, that's another thing people don't talk about either, because while LeBron and AD been out, the Lakers role players have had an opportunity to step up and step their game up a whole lot. But also, nobody talk about how Brooklyn role players been able to do the same. And I mean, they actually look a lot better than the Lakers role players. I mean, if I truly had to be honest, the way Joe Harris shoots the ball, I'd take him over KCP at this point in time, especially over Wesley Matthews or Caruso. I mean, so at the end of the day, I'm still picking Brooklyn. I'm still picking the Lakers. I think it's going to be a hell of a finals. I know the ratings have suffered recently, and I know LeBron has come under a lot of scrutiny from, political views and all this other kind of junk. But we won't get into all of that. But at the end of the day, I think it'll be a very highly rated finals if we can get a New York against LA, and home names like a LeBron James against a Kevin Durant. Then we're talking about a damn good finals. So let's just hope for that, and we'll see the Lakers back in action tonight. Of course, I'll be back at y'all tomorrow with my analysis of the game, because I'm pretty sure that I will get a chance to watch the game this evening. So as always, positive vibes to everybody. Right on to the real. Much love to the haters. I'm out.